Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ColespaceXP podcast. We're back with another episode. Welcome if you're listening or watching. Welcome. Hello, watchers. Hello, listeners. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And today's topic that I wanted to dive right into was one that I thought of actually while I was at work the other day, and it kind of just dawned on me when I was talking to one of my friends. I thought it would be a fun idea, and they expanded upon it a little bit. So credit to my friend Angel. She helped me kind of think of this idea too. And also, I just wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit more and make a podcast episode about it. And we'll kind of not really rank, but give you 3 games for each season. So that's the topic of the podcast episode today. We will be talking about what games are good for what season and why that is. So I have compiled a little list of games that I'm going to suggest to you all, and we're going to just do it that way, because I think personally that each season kind of does have a different experience, like a different vibe. I think that it's really true that when you play games in certain seasons, like some games hit better in different seasons. And I'm talking about literally spring, winter, fall, and summer, the actual seasons. Now, I know that there are other parts of the world that may only have kind of one season. But for this episode, just assume that we all live in an area that has 4 seasons. I live in a part of the world that has 4 seasons. Some people really only see a couple seasons, like 1 or 2, which I understand. But also, I just thought this would be a really cool episode. So, let's jump right into it. I don't know why I said it like that. Let's jump right into it. I have this list that I want to do. So each mood of this, I feel like each season, when you're a gamer, has a different mood. And it's very simple for me, kind of. So I will suggest 3 games that you guys might want to try each season, or what I think is fun to play in each season. And you might be surprised with some of my suggestions for whatever reason. So we're going to start with spring, because it's kind of the first season of the year. And I'm going to talk about the mood of each season. I'm going to be talking about kind of why these fit into each season. I'm going to probably personally rate them at some point. So spring, I feel like the vibe of spring is about growth. You know, things are growing. It's kind of, spring is a kind of time where you feel as though you're going to grow, right? You're going to grow, but also you're going to renew. So it's that new part of the year where you feel like it's kind of a fresh start into the year. Winter's over. Things are coming back to life. It's a renewal. I think during spring, it's good to keep it not as deep. I feel like spring games should be more of a cozy, relaxing adventure, but also like just a light adventure. Nothing too intense. I feel like that fits the spring vibe really well. So spring's really about growth, a time of renewal, and just a fresh start. But also, let's keep it, mostly light in springtime. My first suggestion for spring, and you guys are all going to know it because we actually are doing a Let's Play playthrough series of it right now on the, it's going to date me when I talk about this on the podcast, but we're doing it right now on the ColespaceXP YouTube channel. It's Stardew Valley. Why it fits spring so much is because you're growing things. You know, you start in spring on Stardew Valley. I know they have all the seasons on Stardew Valley, but I feel like spring fits Stardew Valley the best because it's just the theme of, yeah, you're, you know, and there, I want to actually put this out here. There may be spoilers when I talk about this. So, spoiler alert, if you're listening to this, if you hear any of these games and you're like, I don't want to hear about them, Cole, you know, that's totally fine if you don't want to hear about them. So just remember that, because I may talk about the games a little bit. Stardew Valley has, you know, themes of just, you're starting fresh because you're getting tired of your job, your corporate job, and you want to start a farm because you're actually lucky and your grandpa had a, you know, a property for you, which is really nice of the grandpa. I really like how the grandpa was looking out for his grandson even before, you know, I really appreciate it when people are looking out for people without them even knowing. That's the best types of things we can do in the world, honestly, is when you're looking out for somebody and you don't need to tell them, you don't need that credit, you just do it. That's a good person. Good people do good things, and that's it. They don't expect anything in return. So grandpa was really good for that. I feel like spring brings a lot of colors too. So with that, I feel like Stardew Valley is a very, very colorful game. It just is. It's really pretty. It's really satisfying to watch. You're rebuilding a community as well in Stardew Valley. Like you're bringing it back to life. So in a sense, it is the most spring game I could actually suggest to you guys, I think. And I highly recommend Stardew Valley. I've really enjoyed it. Every time I play it, it's like a 2 or 3 hour session, and I just love it so much. I'm going to actually probably revisit it from time to time because it's so good. And I think that you should. It's just a great game. So planting seeds, growing things, farming, mining, it's just fun. I feel like spring fits Stardew Valley very well. So that is the first game. The next one I have for you guys, which you may know, which you all will probably know, I think, and you know, and it's totally an opinion, so just remember that when you listen to this, because also you guys may have other opinions, and I would love to hear that in the Spotify comments or the YouTube comments of this podcast episode. Let me know what you think about seasons and what games fit your seasons. So with the next spring game, I'm gonna hit you guys with another game that I really like. Okay, so the next game in our list of spring themed games is gonna be a short hike, and I've actually done a full playthrough of the short hike game. It's a very, very short game, very, very relaxing. You're literally just exploring the outdoors on a short hike. Like, I don't know how else to explain it other than that, but it is literally a short hike, and you're this little bird, and it's just like so free and open. It's this little island kind of. It's a breath of fresh air. A short hike was a really lighthearted, light adventure. It was relaxing. You met characters along your hike. It didn't feel like pressure at all. The most pressured moment was this foot race that you had to do, but even that wasn't that bad because you could keep redoing it and get better at it. So a short hike would be my second recommendation for the springtime. It's like literally you can beat it in less than 2 hours, I think. If you're not rushing, you can beat it in 4 to 5 hours. But it's just a good game and it feels good to play through. I never felt stressed when I was playing a short hike. Sometimes I like that pressure when I play a game, but not always. So a short hike would be my second game. It's not as good as Stardew Valley. I would say it's second place for sure. I think I'm gonna go from top to bottom when I do this rank kind of. But yeah, a short hike, definitely a great game to play in the springtime if you feel like it. And I know I said at the beginning of this podcast episode I was going to do single player and multiplayer, but I think we're going to break that into two parts, honestly, because I feel like you could go multiplayer and single player. So we might do a part 2 of seasonal games. But for today, we'll just do kind of single player. I mean, they can have the option to do multiplayer, but we're going to focus on single player games, I think, for today's episode. Then next, but last but not least, this is a personal favorite of mine, and I do plan on doing a Let's Play series on the YouTube channel for this one. If you guys follow the YouTube channel, like our games that we play. The next game I really like, I've played a little bit of, but not like on the channel. But I really enjoy the art style. It's colorful. It's just kind of got that theme that I really gravitate towards. It's a game called Eastward. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little less known than Stardew Valley, of course. I think it's on the same level as The Short Hike, as known as how well it's known. It's kind of a game where you're moving forward after decay. So it kind of fits that spring vibe because, winter, everything's dead. And then after winter, everything renews and everything regrows. And I just feel like sometimes, personally, Eastward is a game that I really enjoy. And I want to play all the way through and see how it is. I think it's the last spring game that I'll suggest to you guys because it just has that kind of renewal. It feels like a renewing experience too. So it is an underdog, but I really think it'll surprise you for how fun it is. Try out Eastward, or at least look into it. And I wanted to also add that some of these games I have not played yet. I've looked at or seen trailers or seen gameplay. And then I also conclude that, okay, this looks like a game I would play in the summer or the winter. So just remember, this is just me talking. There's no, actual, it's just an opinion. And it is also just literally me saying, oh, this game looks like a summer game for this reason. So I may have played these and I may have not played these. Next, we're gonna go to the big heat time of the year. It's a time of the year where sometimes maybe you're busy, sometimes you're relaxing, sometimes you're on vacation, sometimes you are not on vacation. Sometimes you're outside a lot, and sometimes you're inside a lot. It is summer. This is the time of now, and this is typical. Everybody's different. Some people have different things they do in the seasons. So totally okay. This is just generally speaking what I feel for each season. Summer is a time of adventure. Summer is a time of energy. And summer is a time for you to kind of just have an open world gaming experience. I feel like usually you have more time on your hands in the summer. Sometimes you don't. But I feel like these 3 games, are good for summertime, without a doubt. The first one, I would say, and sometimes I feel like the game season that I recommend is related to how the weather is in the game, if that makes sense. And this one is, without a doubt, related to that. The first suggestion for the summertime game is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. And I have not played this one. I want to first off say that I have not played The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, but I do want to play it, and it is just sunny every time I see gameplay of Legend of the Zelda, I don't know what I should call it, Breath of the Wild. I'll just call it Breath of the Wild. Every time I see gameplay of Breath of the Wild, it's very sunny. It looks like summer. This is an open world game. I know a little bit about it. So it gives you that freedom to adventure. I know that a lot of people like it. But it's a game that Breath of the Wild has been talked about. I feel like it's the most talked about Legend of Zelda game. But from the gameplay alone, the open worldness of it, I feel like you probably have a lot to explore. I'm assuming that. So yeah, I would say that is my first recommendation. Legend of the Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I don't have much to say about it other than it makes you feel free, and it gives you that sense of wonder, when you have an open world game. The next game that I have for you guys is a game that I played way long ago. I think it was a different one, and it is kind of a party game. I'm still gonna put it on this list because I just feel like it's pretty awesome, and it always felt like the summertime. And it's also when you're younger and you play games with your friends, this is a game you might have played, having friends over for summertime sleepovers, having summer parties, birthday parties, that kind of stuff. It's got that party energy, I'm talking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And yes, I played on the Super Nintendo 64 Mario Kart. I don't even know what game it was exactly, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the second game that I will say is a good game to play in the summer. It's very bright, colorful, summer, It's a very social game because you can play Mario Kart by yourself, but it is so fun to play Mario Kart with a bunch of people. When you have breaks in work or school or life in the summer, Mario Kart might just be the one. And I know even adults love to play Mario Kart. It doesn't really change as you get older. If you like Mario Kart, you're probably going to like it when you get older too. And I feel like it's one of those games a lot of people can sink their teeth into. Mario Kart is a big, widely known game. So I feel like it's a great summertime game. Now, the last one that I have, it fits the summertime vibe for me for a couple reasons. It's actually been suggested to me way more than once, so I will play it at some point on the YouTube channel for you guys. But it is a game that's in the ocean, and I feel like ocean and summer fit very well because when you think of the beach, you do think of summer a lot of the time because it's usually hot when you go to the beach, So this game, the third and last suggestion for our summertime seasonal game, is Subnautica. Subnautica is the last one that I'm going to suggest. I am going to play it at some point. It's got a very, very colorful, bright aesthetic to it. I know that you're in Subnautica. I believe you're exploring the ocean. I don't really know what your end goal is in Subnautica, but it's something that I want to dive into eventually. I'm assuming you're trying to find something. I haven't seen much gameplay of Subnautica, but just from the ocean exploring and like the coral reefs and all that stuff alone, I feel like it would be... I would get a little uneasy about diving in the ocean. So that part's a little scary to me. But there's nothing wrong with having a little scare in the summer. Little summerween action. I would definitely say it's kind of relaxing. Like, I feel like when I'm surfaced in Subnautica, I'm going to be like, it's relaxing. Yeah, it's very nice. And I don't know all the aspects of the game, so I'm kind of just spitballing here during this episode. But I didn't want to just zone into the games I've played. because there's just so many games out there. And I just looked at the games as a whole. So Subnautica, and these are mostly well-known games. You may see a game that's kind of not as well-known. You may not have heard of all these games. So feel free to check them out if you haven't heard of them. But yeah, I would say you're alone, I think. I think you're alone in Subnautica. So it's not like a party game like Mario Kart. But Subnautica would be my last one that I would try in the summer for sure. It just fits the summer vibe for me. All right, moving on. By summer, you know, it's time for my personal favorite season of all the seasons. I can't get enough of this season. I love this season, and I wish it was all year, but then it would lose its specialness, you know? It wouldn't have that special feeling if it was all year. So we're talking about fall. Fall, I feel like fall, the things I think about with fall, I think of mystery games. I think really hard mystery games. I think fall is a time where you really have, you know, atmosphere because all the colors are fading. I feel like it's got to be like more emotional in the fall time. I think it's got to be like kind of narrative games, maybe more so. Fall has this vibe to it that's like very reflective. It's very interesting to feel the fall season, and when I play games, I kind of want that same mystery vibe, that atmospheric little bit of a slow down, you know. Summer's kind of fast paced, spring's kind of fast paced, but it's not really. Fall should be like a slower story, you know. So with the first recommendation, I'm gonna recommend the game called Life is Strange. Life is Strange is a narrative game. It's funny because actually my youngest sister loves Life is Strange. I remember watching her play through Life is Strange multiple times. I didn't watch the whole time she played through it, but she played it so much. This game was like, she's not like a huge gamer, but she will play certain games if she really dives into them. She loves Life is Strange. The storytelling, I remember from the bits and pieces that I seen from this game, the storytelling was very emotional. It's like it's a pretty game. It does kind of fit the fall vibe for sure. This game I feel like would hit hard, and it would tell a really good story, probably, with being that fall quality that I'm kind of looking for. I think Life is Strange is something I would play in the fall, or I would recommend in the fall. Moving on to game number 2 for the fall, and this is top 5 for me all-time games that I've ever played. I've actually beat it on the YouTube channel. I think it's the most watched video on my YouTube channel right now, on the ColespaceXP YouTube channel, but it is Firewatch. I love Firewatch. This game fits my whole, like, I just love the whole thing about this game so much. It's just such a good game, and it's in a time like of 3 to 4 hours, and they just pack it in there, and it is great. Like, the whole story just feels like it just happens like that, so fast. You are in the setting of a fire lookout tower. You recently have had some personal life struggles, and you decide to get this job as a fire lookout ranger guy. I believe his name is Henry. I can't remember. It's a very interesting game. I love the colors. Colors I feel like fit fall, the orange. Overall, it's got a lot of mystery. There's a mystery to be had in Firewatch. I love that mystery, the good mystery storytelling. It's really good. The thing that hits me hard with Firewatch that I had to take note of was the emotional impact it had. The story really built up, And the end of the story really hits you hard. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but the end of the story hits you hard. And by the end of the story, you are invested. It's a great storytelling, great narrative game. I highly recommend Firewatch. If you have not played Firewatch, play it at some point in your life. That's how good that game is. Personally speaking, that game is just so very good. And since fall is such a good season, and I love it. Personally, I love fall. So I'm gonna give you guys a bonus game for fall, just because I felt like it. I really like fall, so I'm gonna give you a 4th game for fall since it's my favorite season. This game is also a great narrative story. It's very emotional. There is mystery to it too, so I felt like that this would be an addition that is really good to the fall season games. It's called What Remains of Edith Finch. This is a game, if you haven't played it, it's like 2 hours to beat. Great game. Such a great story. You have no idea what the story is until you play through all of it, but it's so good, so it's just worth it. It tells a very emotional story. It's very visually appealing too. There's a wide range of emotions as you play What Remains of Edith Finch, as they tell the story of this family through you kind of going through the old house and seeing all this. It fits fall so well, like honestly it does. So What Remains of Edith Finch is another game that I just felt like popping in there as the 4th game. And I hope you guys try it because it is so worth it. All right, last season, and this is still a great game. The first game is still a great game. And you'll know because it's been remastered and ported to so many consoles, and it's just everywhere. It'll never die. It will never die, truly, probably. Like Minecraft, it's one of those games that it just won't die, Skyrim is an amazing game. You can still play it today and have fun. I still play it from time to time, and I have fun. Oh, I forgot to tell you what winter kind of gives me the vibe of first. Let's do that. So I feel like winter is, the game should be kind of about survival. I feel like that's a great way to put it. Winter time is cold, it's a little rough. It's a little cold, harsh. Winters are always, I don't know where everybody is located at, but sometimes people are lucky they always have it hot. But if you live in an area like I do, where the winters can be harsh, it's kind of a survival thing. And you kind of, you got to rough it sometimes, obviously. So that brings a certain intensity when you play games. And when you're, in winter time, you probably want a little bit of depth, a little bit of survival, intensity, gritty feeling. So with the first game, Skyrim. Skyrim has the Nords, so they're immune to cold, or they like the cold. There's so many snowy mountains and great landscapes for Skyrim that fit the wintry vibe. I feel like there's like pine lakes, there's that cold, the dragons it's the whole RPG feeling. I feel like you could play Skyrim for long sessions too, and still, like, I remember there was, when I was a kid growing up, I had sessions on Skyrim that were like all day. And it was because we snowed in. We were snowed in, and we didn't have anywhere to go, because like summer you can just go outside and play. Winter, it's too cold. You can't be outside all day. So you're kind of stuck inside more. So I feel like RPGs thrive in the winter time. I really believe that, because you just have more time to dive into it. So Skyrim fits the bill perfectly. some of the environments are covered in snow and they're very snow heavy. So it looks like it feels like it. It has the whole aesthetic that you want with a game in the wintertime. So that is the first game that I will recommend for winter. All right, next game that I have for you guys is a game that you may have tried. I haven't played it yet, but I do intend on playing it at some point for you guys. It's called The Long Dark. It is, from what I know about this game, it is about where it's a survival heavy, excuse me, it's a survival heavy game where you're trying to survive the cold. And it's challenging, I've heard, from talking to people. I don't know entirely what you deal with, but I have assumed that it's a game where you have to deal with being in the cold and managing that. You probably have to, deal with like blizzards and things like weather and surviving, eating, probably camping, fires, making stuff. Just surviving from the environment is probably the core of that game. The Long Dark is something that I haven't played, but it fits the winter vibe. It's literally in the winter, and the cold, being in the cold is the main aspect of that game. So I have to recommend it, and I'm going to try it at some point. It may not be in the winter time, but it will be at some point. But I feel like it fits the winter games very, very, very good. So The Long Dark is the second game that I will recommend for you guys. All right, and then last but not least, there is a game, and I want to play this for you guys from all the way from beginning to end, which I will. When I do, I cannot wait, honestly, because I know it's an amazing game. I played parts of it, but I want to play it all the way through for you guys. This is the last game for the winter games out of the three, and it is Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, you know that there's deserty area, there's snowy areas. I know when you start the game, you're like in the harsh winter. But this is one of those games, it's gonna take a while to beat this game. Red Dead Redemption 2, great for winter when you're snowed in. So I feel like it's got that really, really cool role-playing aspect to it. It's open world. It gives you a lot to do. I know there's warmer parts of Red Dead Redemption 2's map, but I feel like it fits the winter vibe. For some reason, it just does. Maybe not as good as Skyrim, but like in fitting the winter season, but it is better. It's a better game, I think, overall than Skyrim, if we're just talking about what game's better. But it's got, and one thing that it's a smaller detail, but I really appreciate and like about Red Dead Redemption 2 is, and if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, you know what I'm talking about. When your horse or you walk through the snow, it really leaves like a snow path as if you were actually walking through that snow. And that really adds the snow immersion into it. Like if you fall down in the snow, you're like, you don't like it looks very realistic and it's very pleasing to watch. So overall, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is beautiful. It's got that grittiness to it. The story, from what I've seen, is very, very gritty. It fits the bill for wintertime. I can see myself having a break during the winter or having to be snowed in for a couple days and just playing Red Dead. Like, it's just a great game. You don't even worry about the outside stuff. Yeah, it's winter, it's cold, you can't really do anything. You got Red Dead Redemption 2 to play, and that passes the time pretty well. So I would say the survival aspect is there, and it's just a really good game to recommend for the wintertime. So that will be the last game that I recommend for wintertime for you all. I think I'm very happy with my list that I have given you guys too. I like all those games, and if I haven't played them, I want to play them, and they fit the vibe that I said in each season, honestly, from my personal opinion. And with that being said, we have finished another podcast episode. I know the podcast episodes have been a little inconsistent, and I do apologize for that. But it hasn't been for no reason. I want to state that for sure, because we have definitely been making a lot of videos and doing a lot of live streams, and just personal life stuff has been busy. So as I grow and as I can do this more, I will be able to have a more consistent schedule, and I can't wait for that. But for the time being, I'm just gonna grind and do the best I can for you guys for the podcast as it grows, and see where we go from here, for sure, because we have a lot to talk about, for sure, in the world of gaming, board games, and anything like that. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. You got your ColespaceXP today, and I'll see you all another day. Bye for now, everybody. Take care.